Your phone buzzes at 3 a.m. You don't remember downloading anything, but there it is, a new app on your home screen. No icon, no name, just a black square. You open it. It's a messaging app. No contacts, no settings, no way to delete it. Then the first image arrives, a figure. Tall, wrong proportions. A skull where a face should be, but not a human skull, something longer, something with too many teeth, standing just far enough in the background that you can't be completely sure what you're looking at. The location tag on the photo reads your home address. You tell yourself it's spam. You go back to sleep. That was your first mistake. The app, SCP-1471, designated MalO Ver 1.0.0, appears on the device of its target without any download history, purchase record, or installation log. It cannot be deleted. Every attempt factory reset, hard wipe, destroying the device entirely, results in the app reappearing on the next device the user touches within 24 hours. The app does one thing. It sends photos, always the same figure, always in the background, always in a location the target recognizes, their street, their workplace, the parking lot they use, the hallway outside their apartment. At first, the figure is far away. Over the following 72 hours, in each new photo, it gets closer. Foundation researchers who have studied MalO's behavioral pattern note something that doesn't appear in the official summary, but appears in every single case file, without exception. The figure is never looking at the camera. It is always looking at the person taking the photo. Even in photos where there is no person visible. Even in photos that appear to have been taken by a security camera, a doorbell camera, a traffic light. Even in photos where there is no logical photographer at all. It is always looking directly at the target. Daniel Park. The first documented case was a 24-year-old software engineer named Daniel Park, living alone in an apartment in Portland, Oregon. Daniel was the kind of person who noticed things. Methodical, careful. He documented everything from the moment the app appeared, screenshots, timestamps, notes. His documentation is now one of the most complete case files in SCP-1471's history. Day 1. App appears at 2:47 a.m. First image arrives 4 minutes later. Figure standing across the street from his building. Daniel notes the image is high resolution, no distortion, no filter. He thinks it's a prank. He screenshots it and texts it to a friend. His friend says the image he sent is blank. Completely white, nothing on it. Day 2. 3 images. Parking garage, ground floor. Break room at his office. The street outside his gym. Taken from an angle that suggests the photographer was standing directly behind him while he was unlocking his bike. He goes back through his memory of that afternoon. He had not seen anyone standing behind him. Day 3. 9 images. All taken within his apartment building. The lobby, the elevator, the hallway outside his door. In the hallway image, the figure is close enough that Daniel can see for the first time that it is not wearing anything. It has no clothes, no features, no defining characteristics beyond the skull, the height, the hands long, too long, hanging slightly too far below where hands should hang. Daniel calls the police on day 3. They find nothing. They suggest he change his locks. Day 4. Daniel does not sleep. He sits facing his front door with every light in the apartment on and his phone in his hand. At 4:13 a.m., his phone buzzes. The image is taken from inside his apartment. The figure is standing in the corner of his bedroom. What happens at 72 hours? Foundation research into SCP-1471 identifies a critical threshold at the 72-hour mark. Before 72 hours, targets see MalO only through the app, in photographs, on screen. After 72 hours of continuous exposure, something changes. Targets begin seeing MalO without the phone, in reflections first, windows, mirrors, the black screen of a turned-off television. Then in peripheral vision just at the edge of sight, gone when you turn to low OK directly. Then standing in rooms. Standing in corners, standing at the end of hallways. Foundation psychologists initially classified this as a stress response, sleep deprivation, anxiety-induced hallucinations. They revised that classification after reviewing the security footage from Daniel Park's apartment building. The footage from night 4, 4:13 a.m., hallway camera outside his unit, shows something standing in the corner at the far end of the hall. It is not a hallucination. It stands there for 11 minutes and 40 seconds without moving. Then, it is not there. No movement, no walking away. No door opening. One frame, it is present. The next frame, it is gone. Daniel Park was found by his neighbor on the morning of day 5, sitting in the center of his living room floor. All the lights still on, phone still in his hand. He was unharmed physically. He has not spoken since. When Foundation researchers showed him a photograph of MalO during initial assessment, he looked at it for a long time, without expression. Then he looked up at the researcher. Then he looked at the corner of the room behind the researcher. The researcher turned around. The corner was empty. When he turned back, Daniel was looking at the floor. He has not made eye contact with another person since that day. What MalO actually is. The Foundation has never determined the origin of MalO, ver. 1.0.0. The app's code, when extracted and analyzed, contains approximately 2.3 million lines of programming that Foundation researchers describe as unlike any known coding language, structured similarly to conventional software, but operating on principles that do not correspond to any existing framework. One researcher, after 3 weeks of analysis, submitted a report that contained one sentence and then resigned. The sentence was, "It is not software." What is known as this? MalO does not appear to be hostile in any traditional sense. It has never directly harmed a target. It does not attack. It does not touch. In every documented case, it simply gets closer and closer until the 72-hour threshold passes, and then it is simply there, present, permanent. Several long-term subjects, when stabilized enough to communicate, have attempted to describe what it is like to see MalO in person, outside the phone, fully visible. Most cannot find the words. One subject, a former teacher named Rachel Ossie, who encountered MalO in 2018 and retained partial communication ability, said this in a recorded session. It doesn't feel like being watched by something that wants to hurt you. It feels like being watched by something that has already decided something about you. Something permanent. Like it looked at you once, a long time ago, before you even had the phone, and it made a choice. And everything since then has just been it walking toward you. When asked what it had decided, Rachel was quiet for a long time. Then she said that you were worth following. She has not elaborated since. The ones who deleted it. There are 11 documented cases of targets who successfully avoided the 72-hour threshold by immediately destroying their device upon receiving the first image and refusing to touch any electronic device for an extended period. Foundation researchers initially considered this a viable containment strategy. They stopped considering it after reviewing the long-term follow-up reports. All 11 subjects reported, in the months and years following their exposure, the same experience. They still see it. Not through a phone, not in a reflection, just present sometimes in rooms they are in, standing in the corner, standing outside a window, standing at the end of a street they are walking down, never close, never threatening, always still. Always watching. One subject, a man named Thomas Hale, described it most clearly in a letter he wrote to a Foundation researcher 2 years after his initial exposure, a letter he sent because he said he needed someone to know. I see it maybe twice a week now, always at a distance. I've stopped being afraid of it, mostly. You get used to a thing when it never actually does anything. But I want you to understand something about what it feels like. It doesn't feel like being haunted. It doesn't feel like being hunted. It feels like being remembered. Like whatever it is, it has me in its memory now. And checking in is just something it does. I don't know if that's better or worse than being afraid of it. Most days, I think it might be worse. Thomas Hale's last correspondence with the Foundation was in 2021. He reported that the distance had been getting smaller. Ending SCP-1471 currently has an unknown number of active cases worldwide. The app continues to appear on devices the Foundation cannot track, cannot predict, and cannot prevent. If you are reading this and you find an app on your phone, you don't remember downloading a black icon. No name, no way to delete it, don't open it. Don't look at the first image, because the moment you see it, it sees you back. And it has never, in any documented case, stopped watching. If this kept you awake, this channel